Hello, I'm Forrest, and I've got a problem today. My guest is Dan Duvall. He's a comedian, and you can check out his latest special, Cheat Day, on his YouTube channel, which is Dan Duvall Comedy. I'll have the links, as I always do, and wherever those go. I'm pointing places. I don't know. And you can find him on anything, Dan Duvall Comedy, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. But check out his new special, Cheat Day, on his YouTube channel. Dan, thanks for being here.
I am so happy to be here. Thanks for asking me to be here.
Yeah.
Pumped up, fired up, jacked up.
Pumped up.
Pumped up, addiction. Jacked up. Yeah. Pumped up on addiction. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we're high on addiction.
Yeah. High on being clean.
That's a t-shirt. I feel like we can make that. I'd never like high on addiction is a good.
Yeah, totally.
What's your problem?
Well, I mean, my problem was, let's see, probably probably cocaine as a major with a minor in alcohol. That would be how I would describe that. Most likely, with a little, with a dabble in crack at the end. A little bit of a dabble, but mostly I would say cocaine at the crux is all of it. Yeah.
Most people don't dabble in crack. That's good. It's good that you only dabbled on crack. Like a dabble is the worst you'd want to be, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of like I lived downtown, and when I couldn't get anything, it was kind of like that's where I'd go, like that's where it would end up. But I knew that it was like I shouldn't be doing this. Like, it's funny when you're addicted to things and you think that like one thing is less bad than the other. Like you're too good for it. Like I'll drink and drive, but I'm like too good for crack. Like
yeah. And there's those moments when you're doing something, whatever your addiction is, that you have thought previously, like, well, I'm never going to do that. Whatever it is.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm sure crack is one of those where you're just like,
oh, crack is a big one, I think, for a lot of people. Well, I'd never do crack. And then it's like one night you're walking. I mean, I've told the story before, but the way it happened the first time is I was just walking downtown and somebody was like, hey, you want hard or soft? And I thought they meant like, when you buy Coke and you get like a bag and it's soft, it's like a bag of powder, but sometimes you get like a rock and you got to crush it up.
Yeah.
I thought that's what he meant. And I was like, oh, hard. Cause I like hard. Cause I feel like I felt like it lasted longer. So I was like hard, but he meant crack. And then he pulled it out and then he's like kind of looking at me funny. And he's like, do you have a pipe? And I'm like, oh, and then I kind of realized what was happening. And then I was like, no. And then he's like, you want to use this? And I'm like, yeah. And then I didn't know what I was doing. And he was like, have you done this before? And I was like, no. And he's like, I'll show you. And then this man, he's actually very nice. He showed me how to smoke crack. And then I did it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I called my roommate who was home and I was walking home and I'm like, dude, I just accidentally bought crack and it's so great. I have more. Do you want to do it with me when I get home? And he's like, absolutely not. I don't. For sure not. Like, no, like he liked to do drugs with me, but we were not on the same level. And he was like, I'm not smoking crack with you at all.
That's a crazy phone call, by the way.
Yeah.
He went from like, I'd never do crack to being a salesman for crack. Like,
yeah. Immediate crack spokesman.
But also, that's a crazy call unless you knew that person was like, this guy might be into it. And you're just like, you want to shoot at some heroin? Like, what?
I was so pumped about it. So yeah, and then after that, it was like every now and then I'd be downtown and be like, so that was that's kind of how I dabbled, but cocaine was it though. Like,
yeah. And then, but drinking's first. Drinking's always first, right? And then you do the Coke because that makes you not as drunk. That's the line always, right?
That's how it started. That's how Coke kind of started for me. It was always when I was drunk, and then eventually, and here's another one of those things too. Another one of those things is I was like, I would never do Coke if I wasn't drinking, right? But then one time, this is how the goalposts move, right? I'm like, one time, I'm like, well, I'm going out drinking. I should get Coke now because I'm going to get it in like 2 hours after I've been drinking for sure. So I might as well get it now and then I have it, right? And then all it takes is now I'm at my drug dealer's house and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I just do a quick one of these here before I leave? And he's like, sure. And just like that, I just did Coke without drinking and fucked if I'm not doing that every time from now on. You know what I mean? Like that's how the goalpost moves. So, but it definitely started with like, I never did it when I wasn't drunk. Like, of course, you sober up, right? Like that's, so you can drink more, make me more confident, more fun. And then slowly the alcohol became a means to do the coke. And I only even like went out drinking so that I could do coke. Like the coke just slowly took over, like Venom, in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
like took over, and then the drinking became secondary. But it started with drinking, yeah.
And how long have you been clean, like from drinking drugs on?
10 days. No, I'm just joking. No, it's been
Fine.
no, it's been 8 years. 8
Right.
years and 8 years and 1 month ish. Yeah.
By the way, 10 days would have been fine. You could have just said, like, I just did it for the pot. Like, I'm struggling. I don't care.
Yeah. Just relapse right now.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah, relapse yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, it is interesting with like addiction, like with because I don't even know if you know, because we haven't really talked about it. We just as like I'm gambling is my thing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I have that in my notes about like when you're asking me questions. We'll touch on
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And I remember like times when I first stopped gambling, but then I would go back out, and then there is that shame though, like where you're just like, like we don't, like people already know you're an addict. So I don't even know if it was for you. Hopefully, and I just saw this. A guest of mine, her name's Dr. Glassner. She works at UCLA. She's a professor, and she studies addiction. And she was on the podcast, and she just posted something the other day on her Instagram, and she said that 2/3 of all people, when they decide that they want to get clean, stay clean. They stay in recovery, which I thought was a bigger number than I thought. And just 1/3 of people struggle. Yeah. I think it's just because you hear about the people that go in it, or you just know them because they stick out more versus a person's like, yeah, I stopped 25 years ago. I don't talk about it. I find it's not like, and I hate to put this out there, hopefully you're not one, and I'm not shitting on them, but I feel like it happens with vegans, where it's like they let you know. They're always
right,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Very few alcoholics or drug addicts are like, by the way, I'm an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic. You just don't know,
Right. I thought, I think that I kind of, and a lot of people go through the process of like when I first was in recovery, I led with it a lot in conversations, like even for the first few years, like it was like, felt like I needed to tell people. And I think there was some shame in it where I felt embarrassed that I couldn't drink anymore. So it became like, it was kind of an identity for me to like make jokes about it and stuff. And I always was trying to get out ahead of it. And I don't lead with it anymore. Like, especially like people offer me drinks when I have lots of stand-up bits about recovery, but I don't always do it. And if I don't do it, often I get offered drinks and drugs. Like I've been working cruise ships for the last month doing stand-up, and a lot of people have tried to like, if I don't talk about being sober in my set, which I often don't, they'll offer me not drugs, but like booze, and then I'm just like, I would have before went into a whole thing, but it's just, I don't need to do that. I can just be like, oh no, I'm good. Thanks though. Like I don't actually, it's become apparent, not apparent, but it's become like, I don't need to justify it to anybody. I don't need to like give out any more information. I've said too much over my life. I say too much. You don't need to say as much. I don't owe anyone any kind of explanation. And most people don't care. Most people, if I'm like, oh, I don't want to drink, they're like, okay. Like, it's mostly in my head that I like, it's that main character syndrome of like thinking that everybody needs to know the whole story or behind every decision I make, which is like goes beyond drinking. That's just me in general. That's just my brain.
We're also not 25 anymore. I feel I feel like that age is where people are like, what?
Yeah.
And
totally.
But also I think that is, by the way, a good, what you said at the very beginning. I when it was first happening, I told a lot of people, and I think that's a good strategy for anyone in addiction is, I wasn't saying like, don't ever do that. I'm just saying people don't generally, the longer they've been in it. But when you first, it's kind of good to announce that just so people know, kind of, it's not even, and it also helps you to like reaffirm like, oh, I'm doing this. This is like, this is what I am, I am putting the effort into this and dedicating. And it surprised me. Like when I first, when I stopped gambling, I went to GA and stuff like that. I say the first time because I was I was clean, is what I say, for 14 years. No, a little less than 14 years, and then I went back out, and then I went back in and out again until a little over a year ago. And but that first time, I was surprising like how many people I had told, because by the way, it's a very rich thing to say, don't tell anybody. I do a podcast about it. Also, it just occurred to me, but I was surprised by how many people I told, because, you know, there's so many situations where you're in a gambling establishment in comedy. I mean, you cruise ships, you just said you've been working those, or they're
Oh yeah.
casinos there. You're stuck in that. Casinos all the time on land. We're doing stuff like that. And then I was surprised by how many people I told, and then a comic would be like, "Oh yeah, you don't gamble, right? So is it cool if we?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't remember telling you that, but I'm glad that you know that. It's nice that you're looking out for me in that way, you know, kind of thing."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that it also holds us accountable too, to let people know. And I think it was really important for me to let people know. And now I don't. I feel like I feel more confident just as a person now, or like in my own skin, you know. So I don't feel like I need to tell. But early on is a different thing. Like I really, and most people knew I was an addict before I even got clean anyway. So I've had, you know, it's my experience has largely been people just cheering for me to be sober and clean. Like my whole life is better because of it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
now it's different. It must be, man, being a gambling addict must be really hard, because everything is gambling now. It's so crazy how much gambling there is. It actually, I find it offensive personally. Even though I
Yeah.
never
I
had that
mean,
problem. I'm like, oh my God.
this is about, well, this will be about like a week after the Super Bowl when this comes out. And I don't know if you watched it, but
Mm-hmm.
there was so many commercials for gambling. It was insane.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
it's like
totally.
every celebrity. It's like who was doing the one? Oh, like Michael Che and Colin Jost had one where they're like in a closet and they're like, it was for DraftKings or something, and they're like pretending to like know the outcome of the Super Bowl or something. I mean, it's just like these people that, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can do whatever you want if you're a celebrity, but like Kevin Hart and LeBron James have a whole series of drafting. I think it's DraftKings or FanDuel. It doesn't matter. They're like the same thing, you know?
It's all the
Um,
same. Yeah,
and I'm
whatever.
just like, at what point, if you're a celebrity, and I'd like to think that at what point, if you're a celebrity, would you not be like, oh, I need this money,
Yeah.
for,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I do. I
Um,
know exactly what you mean. I totally agree.
like
Like at what point?
you're Kevin Hart and LeBron James, and this is like a public health crisis now that's going on. Like,
Yeah.
because you can gamble from your phone. It
Mm-hmm.
is forget just people that were already gambling. It's opened up this whole new generation to younger kids too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
much
totally.
younger people.
Yeah,
And
man.
I mean, I was in Chicago a couple weekends ago, and I'm driving to the area Oak Park where I was performing, and I saw like 4 billboards that were like about online game, like, you know, like, hey, if you need help, kind of thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
never used to see that at all. I've never used to see, but like, I'm talking about not near casino. Sure, in a casino it says 1-800 get help or whatever, you know, but I'm like, this was just a place that I was. And I was like, oh, that's a telling sign that they're putting
Yep.
that up, you know?
Yeah, I had a buddy who was talking to me about how he was going to hit really big if last year if Saquon Barkley won MVP, because he had bet $40 on him, and I was kind of like, that's a kind of I mentioned something about the amount he bet, and he's like, well, he's like, I only meant to bet $4, but I was at a stoplight in my car and I accidentally bet 40, and I'm like, you're betting from your car on your phone at a stoplight, bro.
Yeah.
You should probably get some help. That's a problem. That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody's a gambling addict. I think a lot of people are gambling addicts and don't even realize they are, because it's such a newly accessible thing on the level that it is.
Yeah, because you can, and I can tell you this from experience, like when there was some app, I want to say 5 years ago, that I downloaded and I started gambling on, because I've had 4 different phases of like, I had 14 years in a gamble. Then I, it's not an excuse, but when I moved to LA, I think I stopped going to my meetings. I stopped doing all the things I was supposed to do.
Yep.
Then I was like, oh, I guess I'll just start casino gambling now, which was never my thing. And just drove down the road, I-5, to a place called Commerce Casino, and then learned all the other casinos and all that stuff. And then I had like a phone point where I went on my phone and did it. And I remember even if you're just putting in 5, 10, 25, like you don't even realize how much it is because all of a sudden you look at a credit card bill or something. And by the way, you can gamble with credit cards, which you never used to be able to
Fucked.
do. It used
It's
to always be
so
cash.
insane.
Used to always be cash, like cash. And now it's credit cards and cryptocurrency and stuff like that you can use. Stuff that's not technically real money, but it, and then you look down and you're like, oh my God, I just put in $2,000 worth of bets in 2 or 3 hours. I didn't even realize that. Yeah. And you're just like, all right. And there's stupid fucking bets like that. It's like, it's a 17-team parlay. If it hits, gonna buy a new car.
If it hits,
yeah.
If it hits, I never got the gambling bug. The only gambling I do is like fantasy sports with my friends, and it's like I put $100 in, and I feel like I have more fun watching football from it. So it's kind of like just talking shit to my friends.
Yeah,
like that's fine. Or like I would sit down and play poker. I have a poker night with my buddies because that way I'm like, yeah, I'd spend $100 to play cards tonight with my friends. Like that's fine. But I've never like because I've been like in a casino where I have gambled and then playing roulette and they take the like I put $20 on, they take it and I'm like, hey, give me that. What? No, that's too fast. That happened too fast. That's not. It's like I'm like this doesn't feel right. I don't like it. The feeling I get when there's even as much as $20 on the line in a casino is so upsetting to me that I just could never. Like I could never picture myself, but I'm glad because, oh my God, I'm such an addict. I'm so addicted. This is already my second Diet Coke I've cracked since we sat down. Like you name it, I'm going to do it to death. So
I got into it the reverse way. I was buying crack, and then the guy asked me if I wanted to put in a bet, and I was not kidding. I was like, what? You can bet on football? But there was a guy in the Super Bowl that ran on the field. Did you see that? And won a bet?
Yeah. So because did he bet? And I guess the thing is he bet on a streaker and then he did it. They don't pay that out though, right?
Well, I don't know what he bet on. So there's a platform called Kalshi, Kalshi, which is a new betting platform, but they say they're not gambling. You're just buying shares of things. That's how they've gotten through a loop. So there's a total number of shares on something, and they can be anywhere from $1 a share to fractions of dollars. And then you can buy shares, and it can be like, will it rain in, I'm in Long Beach, California. Will it rain in Long Beach tomorrow? Because it's scheduled. It says 40% chance, and you can buy shares on that stuff now. So he might have bet on there, and they're going to pay out no matter what in there because that's completely unregulated. Like it's as far as a gambling site, it's just like trading stocks and options.
That's
and stuff,
so dude. I'm just like so oblivious to that, and the whole idea of it makes me feel like so uneasy. I don't know.
It's fucked. And it's like one of these things where like people are trying to get them to regulate it, but it's like it's just part of the internet now. It's like all this stuff on the internet that's not ever been regulated.
It's all happening too fast.
Yeah.
It all happens too fast, man. And like, I feel like that gambling has ruined everything. Like everything has got money attached to it and it feels heavy. It feels like late stage capitalism just taking every drop that it can from us. And it's the same thing. Like I was just talking about this the other day, but like video games are ruined now. You can't like just buy a video game and play it. Cause if you want to be better at stuff, you have to like you have to pay. Tax. Everything is extra money. Like, why do I have to pay more money once I buy the thing? Like it feels like violent. It feels violent. The amount of money that people are trying to get from us at every single turn. It's like in-app purchases, all that. Like it's too much, man.
Yeah. I have a friend who one time I was at his house and we were playing PlayStation. Something happened with his email. So I used my email to get in there or whatever. And we never fixed it. So anytime he buys anything, I get a notification on my email. And he plays Call of Duty a lot. And he's always buying those packs. I don't even know what they are. I don't play Call of Duty. But he has to buy, they're like weapons packs that you can purchase. And like every once in a while, like an email just purchased a new pack or whatever.
People spend thousands of dollars on that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so messed up.
That guy that ran on the field, though, by the way, I don't know if that was Kalshi, but even if it wasn't, I don't know. But my reason I brought that up is there can be quote unquote insider trading on that because like there's been on Kalshi, I think it's Kalshi or Kalshi. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kalshi. Like guys that were declaring for where they're going to play football in college, they can put out. They don't call them odds, but they can put out you can buy stocks like, oh, so and so is going to go to LSU. No, they're going to go to Miami. They're going to go to Alabama. And then that person that's gonna choose that can technically just have their friend make an account. Not technically, they can do this, and they can like figure out how to like corner the market, and then they can say out loud, yeah, I'm leaning towards Alabama, but I'm not sure, whatever. But in all fact, they're gonna go to LSU, and they can have their friend just keep buying shares of LSU, and they can make money off that.
Wow. I mean, good for them, to be honest.
Sure,
Like,
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
like
yeah,
anything that's helping those unpaid college athletes make
yeah.
money.
Well, they're paid
I'm
now.
for it.
They're allowed to be
Are
paid
they?
now. Yeah,
Oh, are
yeah,
they? Oh,
yeah.
good. Okay,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
good.
So because
I
there's
didn't know that.
see, you're not in the sports at all, which is great. I can tell. So they in the past however many years now they have a name, image, and likeness, so they get paid to play college, which I think they should. I agree. I think
Yeah,
for years they've been getting
too.
fucked.
Yeah,
So
totally.
but so I don't know where that guy was, but I saw a video of it today where from his Meta glasses, the guy that ran on the field.
He had Meta glasses on?
You can watch. I'm sure if you put guy runs field Superman, you can watch from his point of view.
Oh my God.
All the way to where he gets like detained, arrested on the field. Like the New England Patriots guy went to go to tackle him. But and so he had a guy, it looks like he had a guy about 20 feet away jump over the railing as a distraction because everybody flocks towards him. Like the security, because they're kind of
smart.
And then he jumps over like a second later, but he has a gap. And then he makes it all the way onto the field.
Yeah, they probably bet. That's just my thing is everybody's betting on everything. So that must be kind of crazy being a gambling addict and watching that happen. Like,
yeah, and I think you made 80 or 90,000 off that.
Okay, so does that make it easy? Like, because personally, when I see people drinking too much or doing drugs, it makes me be like, thank God I don't do that. So seeing everybody gambling in the way that they are now, is that like kind of like thank God I'm not involved with that, or does it make it harder for you?
No. It's same as the feeling you have with drinking or drugs or stuff. Because like when I work, I've talked about it before on this podcast. When I work the Comedy Cellar, for instance, in the Rio, I will, I stay in the Rio and I'll go down the elevator and I'll walk to the club, and you walk through the casino, and you have to walk through the casino no matter what. But I always enjoy is the wrong word. It's kind of like I look to and watch people gambling, or if it's like 5 a.m. and I'm walking out and I see people at a slot machine that have clearly been there all night and stuff, like that is like fuel to be like, well, I'm glad I'm not doing that because I've done that. I've been sitting at that table playing blackjack for literally 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm glad I'm not. And I was at a Super Bowl party. I go to a Super Bowl party with my friends, and they to be fair, they bet very little. They do like all these little side bets for like $5 a piece. So, I mean, I think the most somebody loses there is like $80, like if you had a bad day. So, and you're not getting rich either. You know what I'm saying? But number one, I still don't like it. I still look at it. I'm just like, all right, yeah. I mean, I guess I like it because they're my friends and they get so, you know what it is? I look at that. They get so excited to win $25, and it makes me happy because I see it. I'm like, oh, people can do this normally. I was like, that would be exciting for me.
I think for my friends who I see doing it, it's those kinds of amounts. But the problem for me is that they're constantly doing it. It's all the time. It's every day. And so it's like, oh, you're a slave to this in the same way I was to drugs and alcohol. It's just like you can't get away from it. I got hooked on vaping recently. I quit smoking cigarettes for like 7 years, and then I just my buddy was vaping, and I just thought of it as different. I'm like, let me see that thing, and I hit it, and then within 2 weeks, I was completely hooked on vaping. I think I'm like 5 months off of it now, but like,
nice.
But I noticed with it, I'm like, yeah, it's not even the health stuff that's really bothering me. It's more like, oh, I'm in the restaurant with my friends and I'm going to the bathroom to hit my vape. I'm like, this feels oddly familiar. Like, it's not good, man. It's the slavery to it. And that's what I see. I mean, I have this joke from my special that is like the joke I'm probably most known for about like, oh, you're addicted to things that are not drugs and alcohol. That's cute. That's like, oh, you're addicted to the gym. You ever miss 3 days of work because you're doing squats? Like that's kind of, but the truth, I mean, that's just a joke. I actually don't feel that way. Like, I think you can be addicted to anything as long as it's like running your life, like, and it's, you're losing your life to it, then it doesn't matter what it is. It's just the consequences like the addiction is our brain. The addiction is, to me, I think the addiction is like when they say it's a disease, I like to think of it more as a mental illness. Like my brain just, I can't get enough of things and I have to like actively take action to like have intention to slow everything down so that I make sure I'm making choices. Otherwise I'll just be reactionary and just do stuff. So that's my brain, right? And whether it's food or, sex or coke or crack or whatever, or gambling, it's all the same thing. It's just that the consequences are different. Like the substance itself is a symptom of the addiction. And I think that like, I have problems with Dairy Queen. Like I
Wow.
fucking love Dairy Queen, bro. Like ice cream is a problem for me, but the consequences are never going to be the same as heroin. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm not breaking into your car. That's the point of the joke. But I do think that addiction is addiction. It doesn't matter. You can get addicted to anything, I think.
Well, the first time I stopped gambling for real, comedy was my addiction.
Sure.
Honestly, like I had just started stand up and I
Same.
threw myself into it and I was like, I'm going to drive and do every open mic and this and that, whatever. And I still think there's so many addicts in comedy that I think some people treat it like that. Like some people will do that thing like, how many sets did you do this week? And I'm like, I don't know, I did like 4 or 5. Like, that's not enough if you want to. I'm like, it's enough.
Yeah,
I've been doing
it's
this
enough. It's totally
20
enough.
years now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like I just went and did when I was in Chicago. I hadn't done a headline set for a couple weeks, and my stupid addict brain was like, oh, I should have been doing it I should. And I hadn't even done a set for a week because I've been working on this new show. And my brain was telling me all that stuff that people say. Remember, when I got on stage and I had a great set. I was like,
yeah.
I was like in the cut. I was like, all right, I know how to do it. I'm not saying you should just not do it. I mean, you still need the reps. I'm not saying that, but this whole idea, it's like in New York, I can do 4 sets a night and I can do that 6. And it's like, that's great. And if you want to do that, that's fine. If it's not fucking up your relationships and your life and stuff like that, because you still need that balance. But it's not, you don't have to.
I totally agree. And I even think that like for newer comics, sometimes staying at home and writing can be more useful to you than going to perform for 6 other comics in a terrible bar, like, or going out to like a club and watching a pro for an hour can be as useful as doing a 3-minute set at a terrible open mic. I don't know. There's just
yeah.
There's lots of different things about it. But yeah, same. I have problems with working.
Writing for sure is
I have
healthy
problems
too. Yeah.
I have problems with working too much for sure. It's really hard for me to stop and just do nothing. I need a task. It really is tough for me. So exercise is another thing I've struggled with too much and going too crazy on. For sure. Like running and just being like this. Anytime I'm abandoning my responsibilities to do anything, that's my addict brain working out. And I gotta like stop that. Like if I'm not doing stuff because I needed to run 20 kilometers today, or 10 cheeseburgers or whatever you guys measure distance in America. But, but like yeah. So I feel you, man.
There's a lot of running. Yeah, that's what I did. I've lost a lot of weight the last year, and I just used my addict. Everyone's like, "How'd you do it?" I'm like, I'm an addict. I just use that same thing to do the positive things, like to be eating correctly, eating the right things, the right times, just drinking water.
Yes, I had to learn how to eat. I started macro counting, and I found that to be really useful at first because it taught me what foods do what. I lost 100 pounds when I got sober, and nice. and even after that, I still I was kind of starving myself, and I didn't understand that. And now I actually eat more and way less, and I'm in better shape. But it's like I didn't know how to do it, so I had to learn how to do that. But yeah, it's all just trying to slow down and actually make choices. Otherwise, I'm just being an addict, no matter what it is.
Yeah. With addiction, what problem do you think you're actually trying to solve?
Wow. Okay. So I'm like I'm like a program guy. I'm a 12 stepper, press, radio, and films. I'm going against that right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it anyway. But through doing the step work, like the 12 steps, it really helped me to look at what the root of the issues of why I got addicted in the first place to drugs. And I've already touched on this, talking about like um the sorry, I lost my train of thought. About like how it's a mental illness and I can get addicted to anything. Really, I think at the end of the day, the problem I really am trying to solve is codependency. That was a lot of words just to say codependency. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, like the codependency, because I, I'm now trying to do 12 steps for codependency. That exists as well. It's called Coda, and you can do, like, anybody can do it. And I think that we're all codependent to a certain extent. And so what I thought codependency meant was like, oh, I have to have a girlfriend all the time. I just have to be in a relationship. That's what I thought it meant. But what it actually means, what I learned, is that it's getting validation from outside of myself, people, places, or things. It's like any one of those things. And so that's my problem. Like, yeah, my drug addiction and alcoholism is the basement, but the codependency is the crawl space underneath, because it's always been me trying to get validation from other people, especially people. I need people to think I'm funny. I need people to think I'm attractive. I need people to think XYZ. Otherwise, I'm not okay. And so I don't know if I was born with that or where that came from, but like ever since I was a kid, I've constantly been trying to like show people a resume of why I think you should like me, rather than just showing up as who I am as a person, because I didn't know who I was and I didn't know how to ask myself the questions as to what I actually like, what I'm actually interested in, um, without being judged by people, and try to and like learn how to be comfortable in my own skin and how to show up as myself. I didn't know how to do that, so it created this like this world where I'm being manipulative and like lying, embellishing, all of those things to try to just be okay in the eyes of other people. So I'm projecting a version of myself rather than just showing up as who I am. And especially in the last 4 or 5 years, 4 years, I would say 4.5, 5 years in recovery has been really eye-opening. And I think I'm the most comfortable I've ever been as myself, and it's because of trying to do these coda steps. I have found them to be as life-changing as doing the 12 steps and recovering from drugs and alcohol. Recovering from needing to be validated by other people has been as life-changing as quitting drugs and alcohol, for sure, for me, I
Sure.
think.
Well, I mean,
So
that's all tied in there. All the
yeah, 100%.
alcohol, drugs, all that's part of it,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
part of the reason you do that is to live in this kind of fantasy world, so
Yeah, as long as I'm partying and I have drugs, people are going to want to hang out with me. They make me funnier. They make me more fun. They make me more confident. All that stuff. It all ties into like me just having to like be okay in the eyes of other people. But I can't control what other people think of me in any kind of sustainable way. The only sustainable way I can control the outside world outside of myself is through my actions and who I actually am as a person. And so that had been a huge eye-opening thing where it's like, oh, my actions need to match my words. My words were a distraction from my actions. They were two different things. And now I, try to live life with integrity and honesty, kindness, all those things that are the opposite of the way that I'm acting. If I'm trying to control everything, then I'm acting in like, it's like this devious kind of, even though I'm not being malicious, I'm not purposely trying to, get like manipulate you or whatever. It's more like it's very subtle. It's more like I'm lying to myself before anybody else, and I'm like largely not doing that anymore, and it feels really good. So
awesome.
yeah.
What's a small thing someone did that helped you more than they know?
um this one I think also is a program thing. I think it's the people that I've sponsored, and people who've reached out to me for help. um I remember, I have a sponsor when I first started working with him in the 12 step programs, and I just could not understand how somebody would just give their time to just show up and help me. even though he'd already been clean for like 3 years. And it's like, why are you, I didn't get it. Every time afterwards, there's like huge thank you text. Like, I can't believe you're doing this. And then one day I started sponsoring someone else, and right away I like called him afterwards. I'm like, I get it now. I understand. This is helping you. You're remembering what it's like at the start. It's a refresher for you. It like keeps you remembering how day -1 was like. And it also just makes you feel good to help other people. Like, it helps, it feels good to like, it's cyclical, right? Like, people are showing up to help one another get clean, and it's just like a beautiful thing. It's like actually like a spiritually it's a spiritual alignment. I think that's how I kind of see it, as like a lot of being in addiction is being like terminally self-centered. Everything is about me all the time, and it's such a burden. It actually is such a horrible thing to live my life thinking that I'm responsible for everything and everybody all the time. And then when I can uncenter myself and help somebody else, everything kind of just fades away, and I can actually feel joy. And it's like, that's kind of the key to the door, really. That's why I think they talk about service so much in 12-step programs, is like helping others. Helping others is actually helping me, both up front and in the background, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
also, we already touched on this, but when I see people be in a shit show, that actually helps me a lot. I'm always like, that looks bad. I don't want any part of that. It's actually very helpful when I see people live the life.
We need you out there. You need us on that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do a few good men. That's the only line I can remember.
That's good.
What song best describes your addiction?
I think The Ideal Husband by Father John Misty. Do you know it?
You know what? I don't know Father John. I know who he is, Father John Misty. I don't know his work really well. And I know a lot of people like him. And I'm always telling myself, like, yeah, I got to download, because I always try to download new music when I'm flying a lot, just to listen to it. And I have a really long flight to Australia come up, so I should. But yeah, I don't know it at all. I'm not familiar with it at all. So
he's great. I like him. I think he's like kind of pretentious. He seems like he's kind of probably pretty full of himself. I don't know if he's sober or not. I'm not really sure, but like,
I mean, his name's Father John Misty. It sounds pretentious, but I mean, I know he's
good. Totally. He's also like, I've had this, I've tweeted this before, right? He's like, to me, he's Lana Del Rey for dudes, for like straight dudes, for straight hipster dudes. Anyway, but the song is, I don't know, man. It sounds like somebody doing a fifth step. The opening line is Julian, maybe that's a sponsor, I don't know, is gonna download my files. I think is the first thing it says. But then he just like, it's just like a list of all of his shortcomings and wrongdoings for like 3 verses. And so many of them hit for me, where he's like, the biggest one is binging on unearned attention is the thing. He's just like listing stuff, like didn't call when grandma died, sleeping until 2 and then lying about it. Like, just like there's so much stuff in there. And I'm like, yeah, I highly recommend taking a look at the song. You're going to be like, oh, fuck. Yep. So it sounds like someone doing a fifth step, which is when you just list off everything that you have guilt, shame, or anger attached to another person. So
it says that his name is an intentionally absurd, random sounding pseudonym.
Yeah, like, the guy's fucking. I've never met him, but
Josh Tillman, I guess, is his real name. But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
The name serves as a mask.
He's great. His first 2 albums are especially very good.
He's on tour now.
Oh.
I don't know. There's a bunch of dates coming up around me: Ventura, Pomona, San Francisco.
I've never seen him live, but yeah, big fan. That one song is like, I can't think of another song that's more accurate. I remember the first time I noticed the lyrics, I was like, oh shit, this sounds very.
He looks cool though. Every photo,
yeah, man,
that guy's cool.
He's a cool ass dude. He's a cool man.
What's the dumbest excuse you ever told yourself to justify your addiction?
The biggest one that happened the most is probably I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to quit tomorrow, which means now I have to go as hard as I can tonight.
Yeah.
Which was always this bullshit reason that made me like, I'm going to quit tomorrow. So that's why I'm so fucked up, talking to people like, can I borrow some money so I can get some more? I'm quitting tomorrow kind of thing. So that's like the most common one. But the other one I think was using Coke so that I could drive when I was drunk. I
Sure.
think.
It's classic.
I literally called it driving powder. We gotta get some driving powder and I'll be good to go, fellas. Like, so crazy.
Nobody knew what you were talking about, I'm sure. You're speaking in code.
Yeah. And then and they knew because they were doing it with me, which is also crazy. My friends got into my fucking
people that have never done Coke probably knew what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And it's so funny not funny, it's actually kind of alarming when you and this is really common with lots of other people I've talked to, when we talk about drinking and driving and how much we did that. And it was never, the worry was never ever about, am I going to hurt somebody, but only ever will I get caught. It was, I never once considered I could kill somebody doing this. And like that's such a good piece of evidence of how addicts think. It's just like this twisted thinking where
how does it affect me?
Yeah, how does it affect me? It's so self-centered, right?
Anyway, yeah.
I was definitely guilty of that. Driving powder and I'm going to quit tomorrow. Those are my answers.
Yeah, this is it. I guess, we're done now. So I'm having a bad night.
Yes.
What do you think is the worst addiction?
Well, I mean, we already kind of touched on this. I actually wrote down, I think the only one that's not drugs that really compares, I think, is gambling. I know that you can like fully destroy your fucking life gambling. Like, you can destroy your life with any of these things, but I mean, yeah, it's like I was saying, right? Like there's consequences for each thing. It's all kind of the same. Just pick your consequences. The consequences for hard drugs, meth, heroin specifically, are always going to be the worst, I think. Yeah. Like, I just, go walk down Skid Row if you want to see, it's fucked. Like, but that being said, food, I think, would be really hard because you got to eat food. Like, you can't quit food cold turkey. So I think that would be really hard. Like, they're all kind of hard in their own way. But I feel like consequences wise, I don't know. It's got to be meth or heroin, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because death is looming there. But I mean, there's no wrong answer to this, by the way. I mean, because gambling, I always like lean on as being a really bad one because it's the highest suicide rate of any addiction, and it's not even close.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I didn't know you were a gambling addict when I wrote gambling down either. Because gambling is like, I've been in lots of discourse with this in the comment section of the clips. The clip from the Winnipeg Comedy Festival about that joke I was talking about had like 6 million views, and a lot of people were mad at me saying that other addictions were not real. And I was like, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying the consequences are different. And this is an interesting one too, because it's my sponsor asked me one of the first times we hung out. He's like, what do you think is the worst thing that's going to happen to you if you keep using drugs? And I was like, I'll die. And he's like, that's not the worst thing. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to be in your 50s hanging out in some shitty apartment with a bunch of 25-year-olds with Coke all over the table talking about how fucking cool you used to be. And I was like, I'm like, that's actually crazy. I'm like,
remember that guy.
Oh God, dude, do I ever remember that guy? And it's like, that is where I was headed 100%. Like death would be like, when I look at some of the way that some people are living because of their drug addiction in like a tent on a downtown street, just like, like toes falling off and shit, like death would be better than that, but it is also crazy that people who are living like that can come back, like, and it's important to remember that those people are people. So,
I mean, I've lost several houses from gambling. 3 total now. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
Crazy. That's that's what I mean. That's why I think it's the only one that compares, because it's like, I'm not going to lose a house because of Dairy Queen. You know what I mean?
But and I'm just in the midst of coming back from the last one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I could easily have been homeless a couple times.
Oh yeah. Most and
but I just had situations where people are like, oh yeah, you can live here, just pay me this amount of money, that kind of stuff. I'm technically homeless now, but it's not, because again, I'm in the process of moving. So
it's
I'm moving to Las Vegas, by the way, just so you know. I've talked about it on this podcast, but it's just like And I used to do a joke about how if you're gambling addict and live in Las Vegas, I mean, it's just a
Oh
joke.
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even clock that till right now.
Yeah,
Like, that's
no, but
yeah. And I don't want to say that like food addiction is not as bad, because I do know that you probably can get
hard.
into a situation where your family can't be with you anymore because you're too sick because of the amount of food overeating you're doing, or like the anorexia. Like there's, every version has its own bad version is what I'm trying to say. I just think you get to rock bottom faster with some things than other things is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Best answer so far on the podcast was what was it? Child porn addiction or child being a pedophile. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that would suck.
So where's one guy? You have zero sympathy for that.
That would fucking suck. You have zero sympathy, and also like there's got to be
the worst 12-step meetings ever.
Yeah. Step one, admit. I admit you're under arrest. Okay. Like, I mean, also, like I've thought about that before, because there's got to be a lot of guilt attached to that, because that's like a thing where people like if you were fucking attracted to that, imagine you'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
But like, I guess like I would imagine you're
not
know. Like,
it just seems like, what you get a lobotomy? I mean, fucking A.
What do you do? I don't fuck. That would suck, man. Fuck that. That sucks so bad. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. What one word would you use to describe your addiction?
Taking. It's just taking. I'm taking from the world. I'm not an active member. I'm not part of the world. I'm taking from it. When I'm in my addiction, it's all about me, and it's all about what can I get, and it's all about take.
Yeah. Whereas, what about one word to describe your recovery?
Well, giving, right? My recovery is about giving my life over to the care of the universe, is to like being part of, like, what can I give back so that I can align with being here? We're all connected, part of this thing, whatever the hell it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what this is. I'm a meat sack full of bones. I didn't ask to be here. I don't know what this is. I'm on a weird rock flying through space, and it's kind of awesome, right? Whereas before I was terrified. I had the same thought and was like, I don't know what this is. I got to control everything, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, what can I do to help you? What can I do to like feel like I care about people and love people? You know what I mean? Like it's just such an easier, softer way of living, to just care about others and give back. So yeah, that's the black and white I went with.
By the way, I had 3-1 odds that you were going to say that. So that's not because you went opposite, not because it was like taking, giving, but you had previously, not very long ago, talked about being of service and helping people. And I was like, for sure. But if you hadn't said that, I would have been about 10-1 odds. Just,
Right, okay.
Is he going to go opposite?
Good. How much did you make off that?
Kalshi, I was just
yeah. Because it's not gambling, it's owning shares. You're owning shares in what I'm going to say on your podcast. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, bananas. What's your proudest moment in recovery so far?
It's definitely, I was at my 5-year sobriety meeting, celebration thing, cake, whatever you want to call it. And I had a bunch of friends there, and a lot of people were saying, he's a different person. He's this whole other person. He's a different person. And my mom, who doesn't often share those things, chimed in and was like, I don't think he's a different person. She was like, I think he's the person I always knew he was inside. And now he's just that person, and I fucking no dry eyes in the house, it was like,
I was gonna say, I almost cried right now. So you're saying you must have been
I have a hard time saying that without getting emotional. It was truly the best moment. Like nothing will top that. And then the more funny answer is, there was a time really early in recovery where I bought toothpaste. I was in like a drugstore, like a CVS type thing, and I bought toothpaste, and I didn't realize till afterwards, but I was like, oh, that's the first time in my life I ever bought toothpaste when I was not out of toothpaste. It was just on sale. It was a good deal, and I knew I didn't have that much left, and I bought it, and I'm like, I'm not living my life through desperation anymore. It's not like a desperate putting out fire. Like I'm making choices, calm, I'm making calm choices. It was a real moment for me. It's funny, but it's kind of true. I'm like, oh, I just bought toothpaste. I didn't even need it. It was just a good deal.
Yeah, it is funny when you do that and you're like, I'm an adult.
I'm an adult. Yes. I really had to learn how to be an adult. Like I had an apartment I lived in where I didn't have a garbage can. I just hung a plastic bag off of the door on the like cupboard door.
I gotta tell you, to this day, when I pay bills ahead of time, like I'm always like pat myself on the back. I'm like sometimes I paid
crazy.
I paid my car insurance. You know, it doesn't. I don't know how they do it in Canada, but it's 6 months. You get 6 month chunks is how they do it here. They keep rebilling, and then you can break it out in the payment plans. I paid all 6 months in January. I was like, "Fuck
Cool.
it, paid all 6 months." I was like,
I
"What
know
do you
exactly.
mean?"
Yeah, dude. I used to lose my debit card like once or twice a month or more sometimes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now it's like I've never missed a car payment once. You know what I mean? Like, I never have been late for rent since I got into recovery. It's these little things that really add up, and you're like, oh, I'm just an active member of society. And further to that, I'm an active participant in my own life for the first time. You know,
problem for me is when it does happen, like I forget something, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're gambling again." I'm like, "No, I just forgot that. Sorry, I got to put it." What's the worst? Yeah, which I don't mind people being involved in my life that way. It's nice. Yeah. What's the worst advice someone gave you while you were struggling?
Let's get another bag.
Let's talk it out of another bag.
Let's get another bag, because no one was really ever giving me advice. Like, I guess, hey man, call me if you're ever thinking about using. You should call me. And it's like, it's good advice. It's great advice, but I wasn't in a place to hear it. You know, that's the only thing that anyone ever really said. It's like, I'm not calling you because I still want to use, right? It's not until I actually wanted to stop that I started calling people. Because then it would come up and I'd be like, hey, I don't actually want to do this, but I always fucking wanted to until I really stopped. So I'm not going to call you to convince me not to. I'm going to call my dealer because he's going to bring me drugs. You know what I mean? Like but I mean, that's not bad advice. The worst advice I got was, let's get another bag. I know a guy who delivers at 7 a.m. Like, you know.
And then lastly, what advice do you have for someone that is struggling?
You don't have to do 12 steps. I used to be very much like that's the only way. I really truly think now that it's like, I mean, it works for me. I love it. I think it's great. I continue to do it. It's just a great way to start my day. It's really important to me as part of the community, but really, it's like, find a way to get honest with yourself, and then find a way to continue to hold yourself accountable. Be accountable when no one is looking. Like, but however you do that, if you're doing bhakti yoga, or like you just have like a sober buddy, or you're doing 12 steps or therapy, whatever, just find a way to fucking get honest with yourself, and don't do it by yourself. Like, include other people. That, and I wrote another thing down here. Find a way to remember what day, once you get clean, find a way to remember what day -1 was like. Because never forget that. Like, I never want to forget how much it fucking sucked, because my brain will be like, it wasn't that bad, and you're fine now. You can do it now. You learned all this stuff. You know how to do it now. You've learned. And it's like, no, dude, like, it will come back. I know that. And luckily I vaped, and I saw how badly addicted I got to it. And I'm like, oh, if I ever think I can have one drink, for sure not, because it was fucking, I was cooked like immediately. And then lastly, if you are getting clean and you're doing work like through therapy or like 12 steps or whatever it looks like, just patience and practice, because like you're likely undoing like decades of faulty thinking and wiring, and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and just go slow. And that's where the one day at a time thing comes in. It's just like, go slow, go slow, be patient with yourself, and just like keep practicing making different choices, practicing making intentional decisions in your life. Like, I remember when I first got clean, I would like leave a light on in the room I was leaving, and I would stop and go out loud, "We don't leave lights on in this house." And then I would turn around and turn it off. I was parenting myself. I'd leave socks on the floor, and I'd be like, "We don't leave socks on the floor in this house. We make our bed before we go." Like, I had to like two-person myself. I had to parent myself and be patient and practice that stuff until it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Practice and patience are two words that I don't think get thrown around enough in recovery.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Great advice. Thanks for being here, Dan.
My pleasure.
Thanks for being
Thanks
on the
for asking.
podcast. Go and check out Dan Duvall, Duvall, 2 L's. I don't think I spelled it before. Cheat Day is his special. It's on his YouTube channel. You can find him on whatever you want to be on: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Dan Duvall Comedy. Thanks, bud. Thanks again to Dan Duvall for being on the podcast. That was awesome. Make sure you go check out his special Cheat Day on his YouTube channel, Dan Duvall Comedy. Follow him. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'm in Australia. Today is my first show of The Ocean Hates You at the Adelaide Fringe Festival. If you're in the Adelaide area, South Australia, come to my show. I'll be here February 17th today until March 1st at the Howling Owl, 7:15 p.m. The Ocean Hates You. I'll be in Melbourne the following week. It's all on my website, forrestshaw.net. Melbourne is March 7th, I want to say. March 7th. Am I right? Yes, I am right. All right. And I've got a bunch of shows coming up too. It's all on forrestshaw.net. I'm not thinking clearly about it right now, but go to forrestshaw.net, find out where I'm going to be performing. And also donate to the podcast if you want to donate. We're coming up on a year. I appreciate all the donations and all the contributions to the podcast that people made, subscribing, commenting, etc. Please keep doing that. And I will talk to you next week. Oh, as always, if you're feeling shitty, feeling like you might harm yourself in some sort of crisis mode, 988 in the US and Canada. Go to the Wikipedia page, list of crisis hotlines by country, find out where you need to call and talk to somebody. Talk to you next week. Love y'all.